Thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. Listen, this message is for the overthinkers, right? The people pleasers. Let's talk about God made you enough. This is about healing from narcissistic abuse. And let's talk about the day that I stopped explaining myself, okay? See, some of y'all need to stop explaining yourself to people. It ain't nobody's business what you doing, what you got going on, okay? It ain't none of their business. They ain't the one funding nothing. So it ain't none of their business. They ain't the one acting up on your plans and your goals and your dreams. It ain't none of their business. So guess what? The ones who always, okay, I'm talking to y'all, you always feel the need to defend and justify or prove yourself. You ain't got to defend yourself. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to prove nothing. See, I've been there. I've been right where you at. But see, I'll never forget the moment that I was done explaining myself. And that's when everything changed. That's when my whole life took a turn, okay? Let me tell you about the day that I walked away. Not just from a narcissist, but from the need, okay? The need for their approval. Do you hear me? That's the day I stopped explaining myself. So if you dealt with a narcissist, listen, you already know that narcissists, they thrive on confusion. They are confused beings, a double-minded person. They unstable-minded in all their ways. They ain't stable, they ain't loyal to nothing. Every conversation with them becomes a trap. And then you try to explain how you feel. They twist it. They twist it around. You bring up something they did, they try to flip it back on you. Reverse psychology. Okay? Then you end up over-explaining yourself. Then you just trying to be heard. You just trying to be understood. But see, here's the truth. They don't want understanding. They want control. And so every time you explain yourself to someone who is not listening, you hand them more power. So stop explaining and talking to people that don't understand you. Listen. You don't have to be around people like that. You can walk away. Sometimes walking away from people is your deliverance. That is your truth. And you got to walk in it. And you got to stand 10 toes down on that thing. Okay? So listen. I'm talking about the shift, right? When your silence becomes your strength. You ain't got time to be writing no paragraphs to people, long texts, voice notes, trying to explain what hurt you. You ain't got time for that. Trying to get some closure. For what? Trying to be fair. You got to stop explaining yourself to someone who has already made up their mind about you. So one day, guess what? I just didn't reply. I did. No rebuttal, packed my bags, and got on. Went on about my life. Went on about my business, okay? No rebuttal, no defending, no point proving, just peace. Peace, because see, God is a God of peace. Satan is the author of confusion, y'all, and chaos. So which God do you serve? How long will you halt between two opinions? If you're going to serve God. And if you're going to serve Satan, serve him. But you can't waver between two opinions. So guess what? Just peace. And when I walked away, I felt peace. It just was freedom. Do y'all hear me? Freedom. Because the moment I stopped explaining myself was the moment that I remembered. I don't owe clarity to nobody. I don't owe nobody nothing. I already done paid my dues. I don't owe clarity to someone who benefits from my confusion. I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't owe these people nothing when I walked away from them, when I stopped talking to folks. I don't owe y'all nothing. I don't owe nobody nothing. You don't have to prove that you're a good person to people. Your actions already did that. You don't have to prove your version of the story. You don't even have to defend yourself when they lie about you. Let them. Let them, because see, the truth always rises. And your peace is worth more than their perception. So God, he the one who see your heart. He saw everything. He saw how it all went down. Between you and all these folks. He saw it. Listen, God sees your heart. And sometimes that's the only audience that matters. Do y'all hear me? That's the only audience that matters. Even Jesus stopped explaining himself. So let's get spiritual for a second. Let's talk about it. He stopped explaining himself before Pilates, okay? when he was being falsely accused, remember, he had stayed silent. He couldn't defend himself. He could have, but he didn't. Because, see, when your identity is secure, you don't need to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You ain't got time for folks that misunderstand you. It's time out for that. Your identity is already secure in Christ. You already know who you are. You don't have to fight for what God has already affirmed. Listen, that's the real win right there. Walking away with your dignity. So here's your permission slip, baby. You don't have to answer to that text. You ain't have to, listen, you don't have to send the paragraph. You don't have to prove that you're the bigger person. You don't have to do none of that, okay? The real win, like I said, is walking away with peace, not proving your point. You ain't weak, you ain't cold, but you are free. You finally free. Free to be, okay? So guess what? If this message is for you, listen, I want you to drop it in the comments and say, I don't have to explain myself to people committed to misunderstanding me. Affirm it, decree it, and declare it on today. Let that be your boundary. Let that be your protection, and let that be your peace. I want you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if this gave you clarity. And if no one else has told you today, you are enough, you are seen, and you are allowed to stop explaining and to just be.